Yeah, we can get started. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anya. I am the Chair of Public Safety and Quality of Life for Community Bronx Community Board 7. The committee agenda is as follows. Now I'll share my screen so everyone can see.
Victor, while you do that, can I just ask a really quick question? Who is representing Unique People Services?
I am Maria Roche.
I'm okay. Thank you, Maria.
Great stuff. You can see my screen. I'll continue. The committee agenda is as follows. We'll be going over the guidelines. We'll do a quick Q&A from the previous minutes if applicable. We'll follow up with any items from the last meeting that we have, and then we'll open it up to our New York State Department agencies such as the NYPD, OEMS, FDNY, District Attorney Office, and any other public service organizations that have joined our meeting this evening. So let me start with that. And let me quickly go here. So let me start. On February 19, 2023, Mayor Adams issued Executive Order 339, extending the state of emergency through March 21, 2023. Accordingly, boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the video conferencing law, chapter 56, part WW. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and video recording will be available on our website. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, controls while joining from landline or cell by calling out number. To hear all available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will run this meeting is as follows. Code of conducts for meetings. Penalties and action. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or languages, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban of the participant. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If a person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities should be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. By pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in new business or addressed at the next meeting, granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussions, and public comments and portion, the committee will begin their discussion after each presentation agenda item and will conclude with a decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions related to the meeting software or to the process, please use the chat function or raise your hand function right now so we can contact the deputy district manager. Okay, I don't see any raised hand, and I think the chat we're clear to go. So let's start off first. I know we haven't met in a while, so thank you everyone for joining. I don't believe we have any previous outstanding items, so we'll make sure that open up to the committee members, see if there's anything that comes to mind from the previous meetings that we need to discuss and make sure that we go back to the community board or to the public officials to ask. Great, so we'll continue. See no. So let me start with a quick attendance to see if we have quorum for this evening. So I'll start on the chair present, Samantha Subatsis,
Samantha Subas is present.
and off, Myrna Calderon,
Present.
one George Chaudhry, Lowell Green,
Lowell Green is present.
Maharani Sivasan.
Maharani Subhajan is present.
Great, thank you. We have quorum. We can start the meeting. Do we have any representative from the NYPD this evening? Samantha, do you hear back from NYPD if they'll be joining us this evening?
Sorry, no, I didn't hear back from NYPD. I did not.
Okay, do you know if anything happened to the community board about this evening's attendance for NYPD? We'll continue. We do have on the line FDNY, so I guess we can start with them, see if we have our NYPD folks join there in the meeting. So FDNY, you are on the line, so I just want to open up to you for updates, questions, any information that you would like to give out to the public.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Deputy Chief Arlene Simmons from the EMS Division 7 Command. This is my first time in attendance for this meeting, so I have no information. I'm just going to listen in right now and observe what's going on this meeting, but I was told it's about safety.
Great, thank you. Yes, and I think welcome. So we have this meeting usually on the second Thursday of the month. So this is pretty much open to the public and committee members. Maybe you can help us out with a few questions. One of the things that have come up on the committee is to get more knowledge, understand what the city, what FDNY is currently working with lithium batteries and all these sort of explosions and fires that are happening in our community. I'm not sure if you have, in a sense, an overview, the numbers, how many of these incidents are we seeing in our community? Are there any sort of safety tips that we can give to the community about lithium batteries? And are you or anyone else from FDNY working with local officials or local organizations on recycling or getting more information out regarding lithium batteries to the community?
So what I do know is that there are public service announcements available on the internet about the lithium ion batteries. Myself being EMS, we manage we've been going to these fires basically on a medical branch resource, and a lot of these fires have been started by the lithium ion batteries. The only thing that I could tell you is that based on the public service announcements that are available out there, it's that they can't store those batteries and shouldn't be storing those batteries in living quarters or any quarters where they are being charged. And that's what the major issue is the charging, and the charging does not cut off, and so it combusts after a while, in particular if the batteries are damaged. But we've been handling, I don't have a number, but we've been handling a lot of these fires in the Bronx in particular that's been started by these batteries.
Thank you for the information. I know you're fairly new to our meetings. Is it okay for me to ask if you or someone from FDNY for the next meeting a 5-minute sort of presentation on how to prevent these types of accidents, especially as we are seeing them more and more common in our community? And if you have any of those PSAs or documents or things that we can hand out to people in the community will be great. And if they're included in Spanish or other languages, really appreciate it.
I'm sorry, so your audio is coming in very broken up, but I'm getting the gist of what you're asking. is for the next meeting, if I could have some more information or even handouts of some kind in different languages. That's something that I would work on finding out if they do have available within the fire prevention area of the fire department.
Yeah, and I apologize about my audio. I was just requesting to see if there's a way you can get someone from FDNY to maybe give us like maybe a 5-minute presentation on safety around lithium batteries. I'm not sure if something exists, but at least something that we can tell the public, and since this is recorded, that in the future.
Yes, absolutely. I'll work on finding out from fire prevention and safety if there's somebody that would be made available to talk to you on that in the next meeting.
Great, thank you so much. So we do have some few questions. I guess I'm going to open up to my committee members if there's any questions that we want to ask FDNY EMS. So I do see hands up. I'll start with Myrna.
Yeah, so I know that they're trying to educate people on the type of lithium batteries and not to, to make sure that they use the right lithium battery for the right piece of equipment. However, I'd like some more information, since you're going to be coming back with information. When these fires occur, the toxicity of these lithium batteries burning in buildings, because it's not just the fire I'm also concerned about, what kind of damage this can do to people's respiratory systems. So I know they're dangerous. I would love to see them banned, because this is just not okay. We've had multiple fires occurring, and serious ones, like that recent one that we just had, which took out all those stores, and the one where all the families got displaced. So it's a serious thing, and I'm hoping that the FDNY really presses in on the city and the city council to just ban these things from being charged in people's apartments. There's got to be another way. They could put charging stations outside in the basement, because I know people are hooked on their scooters and bikes, but it's a safety issue. And I don't want to see another family displaced or another person getting hurt. So I'm really, really requesting the FDNY to really press the city to do the right thing and just ban these from being charged in people's apartments. And that's all I got to say.
All right, good point.
We'll continue working with FDNY and see how we can make issues about.
Yeah, I'm on the line. This is Manzoor Chaudhary. How are you, everybody?
Hey, Manjur, thank you for joining.
Okay.
What's your name, Manjur, 5591? Possible. Committee members, to see if there's any additional questions before I do open it briefly to the public. Okay, so I do see one hand. I see West Bronx, Eric. If you want to ask a question or comment.
Yes. Hi, I'm with West Bronx Housing Resource Center. We having a lot of complaints about people charging their scooters or batteries in the lobby. So, of course, they tell the super doesn't do anything. Now we have a couple complaints, people charging their scooters outside the apartment. I just want to ask FDNY, who enforces that? Because being that is inside the building, I don't think NYPD could do anything about that. So is there somewhere that we could refer our clients so they could get that help?
Again, I'll have to find out that, and I'll pass that information along to the next meeting. That would be something that I would have to have them pass on to fire safety and fire inspections. But I think that would be something that the management of the building would have to handle with regards to what's happening in the lobbies of the buildings and the hallways.
Yes,
The
but
same as,
I'm sorry. Yes, but the management, they don't do anything. I mean, the super is the one in charge of the building, and he allows it. So we having a lot of complaints about that. So we don't even know who to go to.
Are we talking about a NYCHA building?
No, regular buildings, and especially in our community board, that's
So these are privately owned buildings.
correct.
Okay, so I would suspect that that would be, of course, to the management of the building. And then as far as fire inspection is concerned, I will pass that on again to see if we could have somebody from fire inspection come to the next meeting or discuss at the next meeting what the actual, what the rules are with regards to them inspecting buildings and finding these things out. But I think the bottom line would be for the management of the building to enforce and maybe change some language in leases for the people who live there that they can't have them. And if found, then they're in violation of lease.
No, yes, but the problem is now, so we don't just want to do it. Yes, but
Thank you for bringing this up. So I'm gonna ask, do you have access to the chat in the Zoom? So I'm gonna ask Jade if she can put the email for Bronx Community Board 7, and we can see if we can connect you to other public agencies to see how we can escalate. If not, then we're more than happy to see if we can connect you to your council board member, and that way maybe it can be escalated to them. So I think Jade put the email on the chat. Feel free to reach out with the issue and we'll be able to help you connect to someone that can help.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great. Well, I don't see any more questions, but thank you so much, FDNY, for this evening. We look forward to collaborating on future meetings. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to Community Board 7.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So I guess next on the agenda, we do have NYPD. So I do want to ask NYPD, good evening. If you want to go ahead, open your mic and give us an update and let us know what's been happening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing? So I'm Officer Costa from 52. I'm the crime prevention officer. I'm sorry I logged on late. Just had a family emergency, but I made it. So I'm here. Just want to give you a little bit of the crime overview. Some things that I want people to be aware about in terms of crimes that are going on, just to keep people aware. The crime overview, we've gotten better this week for our 28-day period. For the past 2 weeks in the 28-day period, we saw a spike in overall crime and robberies and burglaries, grand larcenies, and GLAs. But for this current week right now, we've gone down. So the numbers are, for the murders, we've had no murders. We're down by 100%, down by 5 from last year. Rapes, we are up by 1. Robberies, we're down by 2, which is down 6.2%. Felony assaults, we've seen a little bit of a spike in that throughout the month of February and March. There's been a lot of altercations going on in the street, more last week and then the week before that, but now we're down, only up by 5. So I believe last week we were up by like 11 or 12. Burglaries, we're down by 4, which is down by 20%. Grand larcenies, we're down this week by 1.9%, which is down by 1. And GLAs are only up by 2, which is 9%. Again, the previous weeks, we've seen a spike in pretty much all the crime, but we've gone down this week. The grand larcenies, we've been seeing a lot more of the open area, pocketbook style, either taking property or robberies. There's been a few elderly incidents. We've had one recently, if you look on our Twitter page at 3270 Kingsbridge Road. That was due to the victim trying to help an aggressive panhandler. One thing led to the next, can I have $1? And then one thing led to, let me get more money, and then ended up being a violent robbery. One thing I could say is, if we have any of our, our elderly or anything like that, please don't give in to these aggressive panhandlers. Pulling out money in front of them usually leads to something where they want more money. Some people do have it in their hearts that they want to help them and things like that, but that crime can lead from one thing to the next. So it's something to keep our elderly community a little bit alert on that. As well as the pocketbook thefts. A lot of them been having Sector B, like the Fordham Road area. There was 2 around the 193 Fordham Road area, same perpetrator. going for pocketbooks, jewelry, and purses. So I advise everybody when you're out there, if you know anybody who carry purses, keep your property to a minimum and keep your property close to your body. We obviously try to get the message out that we don't want to fight these guys to try to get your property back. If somebody's displaying a firearm or threatening your life, your property can be replaced, but your life can't. That's what's been kind of going on. Again, spread that message to the elderly community. I'm out here to visit any elderly, centers or anything like that to give my elderly seminar on safety. I'm readily available to do that. So if there's any place in the community that wants me to do that, please let me know. I'll leave my number in the chat. One more thing I wanted to say about the GLAs. I don't know if anybody's heard about the Kia TikTok challenge. Is anybody, you might have seen that on Twitter as well. A little bit about that GLA pattern. It's something called, it's a group that goes on TikTok called the Kia Boys. What they're doing is they're targeting Hyundais and Kias from the years of 2010 to 2021. And they're actually using some sort of a USB device to try to rip open the ignition and then actually get the car started. So there's been a citywide pattern with that, and a little bit of spike in like the Hyundais and Kias. I advise everybody to contact dealerships because they do have upgraded software now that can maybe prevent this, depending on the type of vehicle you have. Anything from November 2021 going forward, anything after cars from after November 2021, like the newer cars already have it in place. But this is something that's been going on. I just want to keep everybody aware on that. It's been spiking the GLAs a little bit citywide. The GLA's just been a little bit higher in Adam, Sector A. So just any residents in Sector A, just going to be mindful. If anybody has more questions in depth on that, I can go a little bit deeper if you do have like a Kia or a Hyundai. And lastly, another thing that's been going on that I received an email on is a robbery pattern citywide where elderlies are being targeted at the ATM machines. It's a form of trickery that these pickpockets are doing. What they're doing is they're dropping money on the floor and telling the elderly, listen, you dropped $20. When the victim goes to pick the money up, they go and they try to remove the property or their purse or anything they have in their hand, jewelry, whatever they can get their hands on, cell phone. So this has been going on. We haven't been hit in the 5-2. We've been hit in the 19th precinct, the 2-0 precinct. Just something I want to keep everybody alert on, just in case it does trickle over to the Bronx. So if anybody has questions on that, I can also, answer you. I'll leave my number if you want to give me a call. If that's all I have right now for the crime stats. If anybody has any questions on it, feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Costa. So I guess we are now in March. I do want to start off with 2 questions before I open to the public. The first one is, recently we heard in the city that NYPD is recommending, I'm not sure if it was taxi drivers and business owners when they come in to stores to take off masks. I'm not sure if we're doing some sort of community. NYPD 50 seconds also going to business owners and people in the community, letting them know about this. And second is, what do we already know or have any plans preparing the community or plans that NYPD will be doing as the weather warms up, especially as we are spring and then summer? Like what is NYPD's actions this year? Are there any new stuff they're going to be trying, any new events in the spring or summer for awareness for the community board and how to sort of work with quality of life issues?
As of right now, I don't have any events listed. I'm gonna try to initiate more events with community affairs in terms of like, are you asking me about like safety and public safety meetings that we can do, or I'm just a little unsure what?
No, sure. I'm asking if NYPD 52nd is going to be hosting these sort of events this spring or summer for the community, more or less, to engage with the community, to inform them of these patterns, or more or less let us know there's events where, I know in the past we had nights out, so we want to make sure that we're prepared or make sure we give the public enough time notice so they're aware of these types of things.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. So I'm doing a lot of initiatives throughout the community as much as I can. Again, I try to do it as much in, whether it's going from nursing homes, colleges. You'll see me out in the public sometimes at the train stations. You'll see me doing little tabletops and things like that. Anything specifically planned as of right now, no. What I do is I usually respond based on what's going on. I kind of monitor everything that's going on a little bit in the Bronx. Citywide is very important because when I see something going on citywide, I usually either go out, visit store. Let's say, for example, if it's jewelry stores, if I see a spike in something like that, I touch base and do things with the business owners. I start sending emails as much as I can, and things like that. If it's anything, elderly related, I do my best to, again, email as many people as I have, go out there and just trying to just give as much stuff, as I could. In the meantime, when I do that, I also carry the wanted flyers. Can I distribute the wanted flyers, all of them in public? No, because sometimes I usually like to show them individually, due to the fact that sometimes our detective squads have like leads or something like that. So we never want to scare the guys off. And if they're kind of onto them, we don't do that. Anything that I do, we will kind of like just announce it maybe 3 weeks ahead on Twitter or like on our Facebook. We can email you guys to do anything that we're going to put together in the community. So it's something we'll keep you posted on as much as we can, me and Officer Echeverria as well.
And Officer Costa, regarding the other things, the tactics that the city is doing, working with NYPD about telling business owners not to wear not to ask users not to wear masks. How is that coming along? Is there any feedback from that in our community?
We haven't gotten any feedback. I mean, those are recommendations sometimes that we make to people. We can't really strictly tell any business owner, don't, we can tell the business owners not to put a sign up and just ask people to take their masks off. In terms of any type of, on our part, doing anything about it, all we really do is just kind of, if we see a business or something like that is a target or maybe a possibility of a target, we just kind of give them like the heads up. For example, I know a lot of people don't, some of the bodegas and things like that, we recommend it, but they have no control over it. Neither do we. People are still wearing their masks based on, their personal preference in terms of like COVID. But we don't really have anything in plan yet as to how we're gonna, other than just basically reaching out personally or through our phones to these businesses, to them to just kind of put that sign up in the front, asking the patrons maybe to just take it down or if they like. But again, it's something that has to be made optional to them as of right now. So nothing's really strictly being pushed for that.
Thank you, Officer. I apologize. One last question. I know we have people waiting. I just posted in the chat the contact information for the NCO's emails. How often are the NCOs checking their emails? Like, if someone sends an email, do they have access to their email to be able to check it? I have a question because sometimes we don't have their phone numbers, but since the emails are made public, do we know like how often the NCOs, while they're on their shift, are looking at their emails? Anything like that?
They should be checking their emails. We all usually do. I mean, a lot of us get a lot of emails. Some of them just we may miss one here or there. Some of the NCOs have changed. I don't know if we have a new NCOC now, so I'm not sure if everybody has like their information. Sergeant O'Brien is no longer with us. I heard like some people trying to email him. He's not here anymore. I'm not sure. We've had a new NCO sergeant up there, and I'm not sure if they have an active one right now. Usually, if you can't get in touch with the officers, you would email the supervisors, and the supervisors would contact them. They should be checking if there's anybody specifically that they want to reach. You could send me an email. I'll maybe forward it to them as well, and see if they get it. Sometimes we do, because our emails are public, we'll get, like 80 of them a day. So sometimes, there is a chance like I forgot to get to that email, but usually they should be checking it regularly.
It's a recommended if we're going to let the public know. I think I saw the supervisor is Jesus J. Jaramillo Baez. Is that correct? Or,
I believe so. I think she might just be overlooking them for now. She was the youth sergeant. Again, all these kind of like position changes, they do them and they don't really tell me who's doing it now. There's been a lot of changes recently also. But I would have to touch base with them and see what's going on. If you like, I could just relay the message and, but if there is an email that someone wants that's imminent to like Sector Charlie or Adam or anything like that, you can also forward it to me or Echeverria, and we can forward it also to like, everybody else just to make sure they get it. So you don't have to just do one email. You can also, email any of us in community affairs and we'll send them a forward and they can kind of maybe see it. If they get it twice, they'll usually respond to it.
thank you for the process. So I know we do have a hand up from Samantha. Samantha is opening up the floor to you. Is there a question?
Yes, I have a question. Officer Acosta, I got a question in terms of Mashalo Parkway between Briggs and Bainbridge. On the left-hand side parking line where it's right by the park, it's just been notorious for window smashing. And as of recent, especially since COVID, people are being bold and taking people's tires and leaving them on milk crates. And it's a sad sight. And it seems like it's a Honda issue, or, I mean, I don't know what's up with them tires, but apparently they're super popular. Is there like a plan or something to maybe put up, I don't know, cameras, something or other to kind of like, watch that area? It's dark there too, so maybe that's a DOT issue that I can bring up, but I don't know if you know anything that's going on about that.
I did see a few incidents with some tires being removed and stuff.
Yeah.
The property from the vehicles are kind of they're spiking up a little bit. We're still down in it, but I've noticed a few because I heard recently that the catalytic converter crimes have gone down because I think now that the people with the catalytic converters are basically not getting any money for them anymore. I think the governor had passed something where the value of the catalytic converter has gone like down. So now they're getting kind of desperate, and what they're doing is they're trying to make their money. They're trying to make their hustle. So now they're going for rims and they're going for tires and things like that. So again, I saw a few incidents, nothing that like was off the charts here. I think one of the best things to do is, get one of those Argus cameras. That's actually the Argus cameras, which is the NYPD, especially in that area. I think the school is not too far from there either. But if you let me know, like, I'll look into it. I'll see the times that they're breaking in. One, maybe I could see if, since the NCOs work a little late, or like the sector cars are out there doing their directeds, maybe they can direct their patrol over there. I'll take a closer look at it if you like, and then the next meeting I'll kind of update you on it and just see, the times, the locations. If it's all in the same area, usually it's the same. It looks like a pattern, and they're probably targeting, certain type of cars. I believe that Hondas can be, because Honda parts are very valuable. They do get a lot of money in the chop shops for them. So yeah, I'll take a closer look at the incidences that I didn't look too closely at them because we haven't had like a really, really big spike in our precinct. But that's something like I kind of expected, because now it's like, again, these guys that we're stealing all these catalytic converters, getting $400 a pop. They're getting about 80 now. So now they're kind of giving up on that. It's not even worth stealing.
Mhm.
So what's the next thing that's worth stealing is 4 Honda rims that are going to be 150 each. So again, I'll take a closer look at it. I'll spread the message to the NCOs and the sectors, just to do like their directives around there. And these guys are quick. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody take rims off a car. It's absolutely, stunning how fast they can do it. They work in teams. They show up usually in a minivan and like 2s or 3s, and they put that car up in, I would say, less than about 3 minutes. So in the blink of an eye, they can do that. But,
Maybe they should get a job with NASCAR.
yeah, and that's the thing is, like, you can have officers out there, but in the blink of an eye, they take it. It's not something that takes them a long time. Same thing with the catalytic converters. They lift that thing up, and I give it about, 80 seconds, they can take a car to convert.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
know what they're doing. So
And one more, and just one more question, if, would you be able to share like an updated list of those NCOs as well as a map of this, of sectors? So for example, where the community board is, right? The community board's on 204th, is that sector C?
that's sector C, yeah.
Okay, so we're in sector C, so, and say out in University or something like that, what sector is that?
University Avenue would be sector A.
Okay, okay. That
So
was
if you
all for
want a
my own
good,
person.
yeah, I could send you a map, but one way to see sector C is kind of like, 198th Street and Webster Avenue.
Yeah,
So if you take 198th Street and Webster Avenue, you take that right side of the street, basically the west side, and you
uh-huh,
go all the way over in a big square to Mashulu Parkway and like Jerome Avenue, Mashulu
Uh-huh.
Parkway North.
uh-huh.
That's kind of like sector C in a little square. I'll send you the map if you like.
Yeah, that
Uh,
would be great, because I know, because there's questions about Norwood and 204th and Bedford and 204th, so I'm assuming that's all a part of sector C, because there's 204th by community board, then 204th on Marshall Parkway North, that's all sector C.
Yeah. And then there's 204th Street over there, kind of by Webster is sector D.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird sometimes because
Uh-huh.
literally one corner of the street is D and then the other one is C.
Okay,
So but if you give me a little bit, I can email you, like I'll scan something and I can
Uh-huh.
email it to you as well as the contacts.
uh-huh, and we,
NCO is doing they were doing their meeting tonight too. There's 2 new officers that are assigned to sector C as well. I don't know if everybody met them. P.O. Arias and P.O. Boland. So they're new, they're still meeting people, they're getting out there little by little.
Okay.
But then again, now I'll share their numbers as well.
that would be great, so that way we can, if you can share it with Jade too, because then Jade can send a blast out to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely get it over to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My screen, everyone. If you go to the NYP, the 52nd precinct website, and you scroll down, you will see the names. Are you hopefully, Samantha, you see my screen or no? Yes.
Your screen
Yeah, I
is
see it,
visible,
yeah.
Victor.
Yes, it's visible, yes.
You go to the website, you will see the NCO's contact information. And if you scroll a little further down, you can put your home address there. And it will tell you what sector you are. So for example, I put 1 Fordham Hill Oval, that's sector A. So if you go to the website, it'll tell you who is your NCO. So you go to the website, you scroll down, you put in the address, they'll tell you who is your NCO. But again, we will have to inform an officer process to make sure that these are updated, if these are the latest one. But that way you're able to know which sector you are in. So we'll wait for information as well, but if you want to.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that right now and I see Officer Wagland is still assigned to sector A. He's not there anymore. There's a new officer. I believe his name is Officer Scott. I just know by his first name, but that's again, I'll get you the update list of the NCOs as well, and the numbers. And I'll even forward the map that I have, because the map that I have is a little bit more, you'll see it's kind of like detailed. It's got all the little streets, like the red lines and things like that. So that's one way to do it, but I'll also send mine. I think it's pretty cool. I both. So.
Yes, Professor. So I know we have one last question, but I think it's from the public. So one last question, Officer Cross, and then we'll thank you again. So I guess Shad Royer, if you want to open up your mic.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. So I just want to bring forth a common issue that bothers me is the intersection at Fordham and Jerome and Fordham and Cedric continues to be a dangerous intersection to cross, even when you have the light. If it's not the bikes, it's the trucks. If it's not the trucks, it's the cars. They'll run the light, they'll speed on the turn. And often I had to wait till there are no cars in the grid in order to cross. I'm hoping there's something that you guys can do going forward as the summer months are approaching, because it's going to get even more dangerous.
Yeah, I'll relay the message to the traffic guys. I don't think any of them are on tonight. What was the other location you said, Cedric and what?
Fordham, the intersection of Fordham and Sedgwick,
Okay, I got
Fordham
that.
and Jerome, and Fordham and University Avenue. There's 3 actually.
Fordham University, okay.
And
I'll see if they did some, that's a big intersection. I know they do enforcement on Fordham Road. Usually Fordham and the Deegan, I'm pretty sure I can update everybody on some of the enforcement that they've taken the past month, if there is any. And if not, I'll also forward them those intersections. I mean, usually they should be patrolling those areas anyway, as much as they can, because they are big intersections. Whether it's, people making a left, like, from the disobeying the pavement marking. From the trucks usually like to make the left turn from the right lane too far. That's actually a traffic violation. So, and we do our best to try to get as many guys out there. But again, that intersection is very tough. Fordham and Jerome, it's like everybody's going through there. People are coming from Jersey, Pennsylvania, just driving their trucks and doing deliveries. So, they want to get where they want to go. They sometimes don't have no regard. But again, I'll relay the message to the traffic guys, on an email, as well as the car thefts. And then we'll see. We'll, give you an update on the next meeting.
And I also want to highlight a sidewalk where a lot of the bikes are speeding on the sidewalk, and I almost hit a lady. If we're looking at Fordham between University and Aqueduct, and Fordham between Grand and Davidson.
Okay.
A lot of bike sidewalk activity, motorcycles. One person in particular, light-skinned dude.
Yeah, we do a lot of bike enforcement. We just took about 26 or 27 of them, I think, last week or week and a half ago. The way we do it is not just traffic enforcement. What we do is we do operations where they get, officers out there, basically any unattended bikes, which 9 out of 10 of them are all unregistered anyway. We just take them. So if you do see any of those bikes like parked, like chained to, those signs, call it over 311, because we will cut the chain that they're on and we will just automatically take the bike. The problem with the bikes is you're just nonstop. There's just so many of them. It's a slow process, but we do get them. We do. Our CO that's his thing. He really is adamant about getting these bikes off. Even in the wintertime, he's still doing these operations in the winter, and he doubles it in the summer. It's just, again, there's just so many of them. You know what I mean? We see a little bit less. A lot of the public doesn't see like the less bikes, but we do kind of see them. They run usually when they see us anyway, because they know we're capable of taking their bikes, because we've done it and we're going to continue to do it as much as we can. I mean, I haven't posted it on Twitter, but we've got about 30 right now just sitting there that we've taken, all unregistered, all, just bikes and they won't get them back if they don't produce paperwork. So if they don't produce paperwork, that thing goes down to Brooklyn and gets pretty much, they claims it, becomes scrap metal. So again, it's a slow process, but my commander, Deputy Inspector Shublin, is always having officers assigned to get these bikes out. It's just, we can get so many, we could take 10, but there's still 15, 20 more in the neighborhood. Once we get those 15, there's still 30 more coming in from all over. I think down the line, eventually these bikes are going to be minimal. It's going to take a couple of years, but it is happening. The operations are going on. So I can test out.
Public's able to call 311, open 311 for bikes that are parked, and then as long as they take a picture and give the location, and then NYPD will take care of it as a non-emergency action, correct?
Yes, as long as it's if you see one with a plate, obviously it's just that, if it's parked on the sidewalk, we ticket it. But if it's an unregistered bicycle, scooter or anything like that, motorbike, just call it over and then we'll note it and we'll usually go over there and take it right off the chain. If we don't get to it that same day, what it is that we're setting up an operation for that Friday, or Saturday, whatever, just to have the resources, because we do need the resources to take these bikes out, load them onto like a truck or a van or something like that, and get them over here. So it's a process, but we do it, and my CO is nonstop with it. That's his thing. He wants all the, if he could take every bike off the street, he would. And it's just too many of them and we're getting to them little by little.
Great, so we'll make sure the public's aware of that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Officer Acosta.
Thank you.
And with the second precinct, I don't think we have any more questions. Feel free to put your contact information in the chat. So I know I want to respect everyone's time. I do want to open it up to the district attorney's office, see if you have any questions, any updates or announcements for the public.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me this brief minute or two. My name is Carlos Torres. I'm the Crime Prevention Coordinator at the Bronx District Attorney's Office. I put my contact information in the chat box. Our office, April 15th, Saturday, April 15th, our office is going to be hosting a child safety fair. Once I have further details in a flyer, I'll make sure to send that information out to CB7. Also on Wednesday, April 19th, we're going to be hosting our annual Reentry Resource Fair, April's Second Chance Awareness Month. So just giving opportunities for those formerly incarcerated and rated individuals, provide them with resources. That event's going to be held at Hostels Community College from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. There's going to be music, entertainment, food, but most important, resources for those who have been impacted by the criminal justice system. Again, want to have the flyer for that. I'll make sure to email everybody on at CB7. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. And that's it. I'll stay on this call.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the DA's office? Thank you, Carlos. So we'll wait for the information to send over to Jade and then it'll be shared to the community. Do we have any representative from OEMS this evening? No. Any other representative from the city agencies, local or state or federal? No, great. So before I conclude the meeting, I do want to open to committee members, seeing if there's any questions or any future agenda items we would like to bring up for discussion. If not for April, maybe in May. Great. And before I conclude, I don't see any questions. I do want to open to the public, see if there's any questions or anything else that you've seen in the community that you want to bring attention to. Please raise your hand. Oh, yes, everything's good. We'll wait for the summer months and spring months. Well, with that being said, we will conclude this meeting this evening. Respect everyone's time. We'll meet again every second Thursday of the month, with the next one being in April. Do I have a second to end the meeting?
You have a second, Victor Marna Calderon.
Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a good evening and enjoy the warm weather that's happening. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.